Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Pin Flooring, and Just Shipped. All are proud to bring the guy that's on the phone line with us every morning from Life South, Galen. Galen, good morning to you.
Hey, what's going on, Tom? How are you today, my man?
Good, good. And I was just perusing my phone, and I saw I had a missed text from you, and so I started looking at this text, and I don't like that you sent me this text. This is bothersome to me, and it says there's a new variant, the MU variant, that's in the United States and in other countries, and it's unclear how much protection the vaccine offers against this variant. So I got my arm stuck, and there's a new variant, and it may not be. I can still die.
Well, the good news is that the first COVID-19 was a pretty wide. The way the receptacles work, you'll have some immunity, at least. Hopefully, if you get it, you won't get as sick. But again, I mean, there's no evidence that human beings have ever eradicated a virus that can be transferred from animals. So even though I've said this on the show, I really believe that, and I said this over a year ago, that this virus was made in the lab. I do. It can be contracted by animals, and so therefore it's going to be very, very difficult for us ever to eradicate it. There you go.
Well, it's a virus. I'm not real sure eradication's anything that's ever going to happen. It's like Pandora's box. Once the virus is out, it's out.
Well, we have eradicated polio, but there's no animal that's ever gotten polio.
Right.
And again, that's the thing, right? And this is a really fast, adaptive, mutative virus, and I really believe that's part of what they spliced into this virus to create it. And why they created it, we could argue for the rest of time, but I do believe there's a whole lot of evidence piling up that it was created in a lab.
Well, the more and more that comes out, originally there's no way it was created in the lab, and then Fauci said, it was animal, it was the thing. We didn't do anything with a lab. But then it came out that he stopped working on this in the U.S. labs, and then was filtering money to the China or giving money to the Chinese labs to work on these kind of things. And then people said, well, maybe this lab thing isn't as radical, because Donald Trump was always saying it was made in China, and then people were like, Trump's off his rocker, and Fauci would never lie. He's a good doctor. Well, now it comes to find out Fauci may need to go in front of Judge Judy because he may not be the most truthful guy because now Rand Paul says he's got more evidence now, more documentation now that Fauci knew exactly what was going on in the Wuhan lab.
Yeah, I think they've had several of the researchers who are affiliated with the Wuhan lab said, I was working on this very thing. So I really believe we're beyond I think there needs to be an investigation into it. But, these labs create things every day in order to try to get in front of it. This virus was made in the lab. But when you look at the RNA of it, it is so similar to SARS-1, and it has that little hook of the HIV, and some of the proteins that are involved that have never been seen in a virus before. They created it. And by the way, they've never found this bat, and the bat they did think it belonged to was something like 3,000 miles away. It's gonna happen.
Look,
they blamed it on everything, right?
Let's say
eating bats.
Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's say what we're thinking. This was created in the lab as an ability to one day use it as a warring material.
No, I don't think that's the way these viruses work. No, I don't believe.
No, I believe. I don't believe a war against countries to countries. I'm a firm believer that this has to do a lot with population control.
Okay.
I just think that's my opinion. From everything I've read, from everything I've formed, I think this eventually was going to be used as a population control.
Okay.
That's just my conspiracy theory.
Law.
That's my conspiracy theory. You know. And by the way, this virus and the way it was rolled, the way it's happened, and the way the world has, learned it bits and pieces about how it was leaked here and leaked there, leads for this to be the biggest conspiracy theory subject since the assassination of JFK.
Oh, I said that 18 months ago or whatever. So, but there's no, and believe me, I think that Bill Gates is the most evil man on the planet. He's
all about population control.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, there's proven of that, right? His support for Planned Parenthood, what he's done in Africa with the
sterilization,
actually,
yeah.
All those things, right? I think Bill Gates is evil. But I don't. If they did it for population control, they really, really, really screwed it up.
Oh yeah.
There is nothing in this virus that shows there's any of that. Now, we could talk about the vaccine, and again, if they would just release the data, then this would make this a whole lot easier.
There are
what the population or what the effects of the vaccine.
And there are the conspiracy theorists out there, and you may think that this is closer to the accurate thing. There are people out there that said this was just a practice run to see how quick the powers that be could control the world as one unit.
There's some of that. I mean, they definitely did.
They shut the world down in a month and a half. In 45 days, they shut the world down.
Right, but they really. I've even talked to somebody like, well, this time they got rid of Trump. I'm like, well, that was a lot of work. But it got rid of Trump. But I think in a lot of cases it's actually had the reverse effect. You look at Canada, who's finally starting to cry for their freedom. But I'm also surprised places like New Zealand and Australia are still
on
sitting
lockdown.
back and are still sitting back and going, yeah, this is the right thing to do. Whereas in Europe, all throughout Europe, they have just said, no, we're just going to deal with it. And, go out and do your thing. A guy I work with who was he was at the F1 races the last 2 weeks, and he said in the Netherlands there are no mandates.
Right.
There is no mask mandate, and they're dealing with it fine. I think Florida's finally past the peak of the Delta. And we all know that just our immune system being able to have the ability to fight off this virus is the best thing to do.
Well,
that natural immunity.
For those people who say,
but I'm not saying don't take a vaccine.
No,
I
got vaccinated.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But yeah, just do your own research as best you can. Good luck with that.
And by the way, for those of you who say that this was done to get rid of Trump, well, if that was the case, well, the silver lining in it is it got out of control, and now the Delta variant has destroyed this summer. The two things that people say have happened this summer that have chipped away at the what people thought was a solid base for Joe Biden. Now his approval rating's only at 44% because of his miscalculation of the coronavirus and the Delta variant, and how he dealt with how the Taliban was able to take over a country in 3 or 4 days that they thought would take 4 or 5 months. So if the coronavirus is supposed to get rid of Trump, the Delta variant of the coronavirus is doing its best to flip the midterms and give the Republicans control of the House and Senate, maybe.
Well, did you see what the White House said about the people left behind in Afghanistan?
Let's talk about that after we take a short break. You are listening to Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we provide a quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Wednesday. That's right, it's already the 8th of September. Boy, say what you want about all this controversy. No, Father Time and Mother Nature wait for nobody. Bad earthquake in Mexico City, not Mexico City, but it was felt in Mexico City. Tremors, 5.4 on the Richter scale, or some of the aftershocks. So Father Time and Mother Nature wait on nobody, Galen. Even the President of the United States, who needs a timeout, I think.
Yeah, I think he would take it. That's for sure. But the whole thing, and now we're starting to find out that there are all these hostages that have been left behind in Afghanistan, and I thought it was pretty funny. They said they didn't call them hostages. They called them people who are still in Afghanistan, held against their will, and were negotiating their release.
I thought we didn't negotiate with hostages. Oh, that's because they're not hostages. I see.
But they no longer consider the Taliban terrorists.
Oh.
You do know that, right? They don't consider them terrorists because we're working with them in order to get all our people back. And now Taliban's like, we'll just wait until you pay us.
Didn't we pay them? Didn't we pay them enough in, military equipment, military uniforms, military? Didn't they get enough payment there?
You would think. And
I
all
mean,
the trucks.
How many?
They had a military parade.
With U.S. equipment.
How about that? Well, and I think we can another 2 months of this, and we can there's no doubt that it will have been, when we get to January, right, it will have been the worst year a president has had in maybe since Clinton got impeached for the Monica Lewinsky. You can't put Trump in that because anything that happened to Trump was really his doing. They were just out to get him.
Right, because he wasn't one of them, so they were just out to get him. Exactly.
Right. So, but you look at inflation, you look at the job market, you look at the job creation, you look at the foreign policy that China's destroying us, the
employment figures were terrible last Friday. When they released the employment figures, it was horrible last Friday.
Well, they finally cut off all of the unemployment benefits, right? And people were going crazy. They've given people free rent. Inflation is through the roof. It hit my son on Monday because he went to Moe's, because Moe's is usually open 7 days a week, and he loves Moe's, and he goes, Dad, Moe's is closed. I said, son, they can't get enough employees. He goes, oh, this is terrible. So, and that's the real world. Gas prices are starting to creep up again. We're no longer energy dependent. You name it. There's not a single good thing this president has done. How about that? I'm going to say, give me one thing this president has done that's been good for our country.
Hold on. Let me. He completely eviscerated Title IX by saying that transgender athletes compete against women. Wait, that's not a good thing. His jobs numbers are terrible, some of the lowest ever in job create. Oh wait, that's not a good thing. He abandoned Americans behind enemy lines and left lots of military. Oh wait, that's not a good thing. Okay, I'm out. I'm out. I'm trying. I tried.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I don't think anybody thought that he would run for re-election. I just think he could barely get through the day. So the question will be if he resigns and how he resigns, and Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi really need some 4 years. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think we're going to get. I think that they're destroying all the goodwill that they thought they had. And by the way, they're not making either side happy. The way progressives, the uber progressives in the Democratic Party, aren't liking what Joe Biden's doing either.
Sure.
They're just not.
Sure.
Hey, let's take a call real quick. You're on with Tom and Galen on Ocala Talks.
Good morning, Tom Galen. This is Sonny calling. What happened to the fact that we had like 5,000 Chinese leave Wuhan the day that this virus became public? And they went all over the world. They didn't stay in China. The other thing is, how come we never heard anything about Glenn Beck going over to Afghanistan with a plane and picking up, I guess, 100 people or so? I'm not sure of the exact number. But I can't believe somebody like Glenn Beck, with his notoriety, would actually go there. But he did. And there's not a peep in the news media. But anyway, have a great day.
Thanks, Sonny. You know the answer to that. It's because the mainstream media doesn't want to give any credence to the media that is right-leaning. That's the reason that didn't get any play. But look, whether you think 5,000 Chinese left China the day it became public and scattered out through the world to make sure it spread faster or anything, another one of those, there are theories like that all over. But the point of the fact is, this administration cannot blame Donald Trump anymore. They've been in office long enough. This is starting to be their fault. Even if you give any credence to some of this, was at the beginning of Joe Biden's presidency, some of the train wrecks were Donald Trump's fault, which I give no credence to, by the way. But even if you give some credence to that thought process, that was Joe Biden took over January 20th. Now it is September. That was 8 months ago. Your first 100 days, your honeymoon's over. 8 months in, this starts to be your issue and your administration's fault, Joe Biden. I mean, when do they think they get to stop blaming Donald Trump, Galen?
Well, I don't know what any president could do about a virus. But I said that again. Been saying that on this station for 2 years now. What do you want the president to do to solve the pandemic? Whether you think it's a pandemic or not, it's not the point. What do you want the president to do? I mean, President Trump bought a vaccine that, 70% of the population, over 70%, has got at least one of those doses. And he brought that to market within 9 months of discovering the virus. That's incredible.
No. Joe Biden said it, he took credit for that. That's not when Donald Trump was bringing it to market. We're not taking that. That's rushed. It was rushed. Then it comes to market right after the inauguration. Oh no, we did this. We brought this out.
That's the political side. That's political.
But that's the problem with this whole thing is it's been politicized.
Again,
they've said it's science, but it hadn't been science. It's been politics.
Well, the problem is what. This is the problem our country has had for decades. Why do people keep looking to the government to answer all of their questions? And that's whether it's local, whether that's federal, or statewide. I heard one of the people who's running for office is going to solve homelessness.
Yes.
As part of their campaign.
And if they
You cannot solve homelessness. You
By the
can't.
way, if they do solve homelessness, if they do solve homelessness, they need the Nobel Prize. But guess what? Ain't no Nobel Prize going to be given out. I promise you.
No, and again, all you're going to do is throw money at a problem because in order to solve the problem, you have to go one by one, and each one of those individuals is different.
And some of those people like being homeless.
Have different needs.
Some of those people choose to be homeless.
Not just some. It's like 90% of them, right? And then you do have those that are mentally ill, but some are just like, nah, this is the life I want to lead.
I will tell you. When I was 19 years old, I've told this story on this radio before. When I was 19 years old, I spent 11 months without a home in Atlanta, Georgia. I slept on the MARTA trains from 2 in the morning till 7 in the morning. Then I would go to the YMCA where I was a member at. I would work out. I would shower. I'd get ready to go to work. I'd go work as the expo at the Po Folks on Roswell Road for 4 hours during lunch. I'd get out of lunch. I'd go back to the gym. I'd work out. I'd shower. I'd get dressed. I'd go to American Pie and work as part of the security team at American Pie on Roswell Road till 2 in the morning. And then the process would start all over again. But I did that for 11 months. Couch surfed here and there, but mostly on the MARTA trains until I had enough money saved where I could get my own place and everything. But never once did I say, I want to be homeless. I wanted to get out of that predicament. I talked to a lot of people that were homeless during that time because you see them because you're homeless. A lot of them, like you said, that was their choice to be that way. Now, the mentally ill are different, but some of them, it was their choice to be homeless. My choice was not to be homeless, so I did everything I could, worked 2 jobs and everything, but it took a while. But still, I made a pact with myself when I was 19 years old, the 2 things I would never be without the rest of my life. I would never be without a vehicle, and I would never be without a home, because being a homeless person to me sucked. So I made sure it never happened again. But not everybody does that.
There you go. Well, and people always throw in, well, what about the veterans? The veterans are taken care of, right? If you're a veteran and you're homeless, we can find you a place.
We can provide. If you're a veteran and homeless, we can get you off the streets, no problem, without a doubt.
That's correct.
So did you happen to see the comments from a guy who, at one time in his career, I thought was pretty funny? He was part of the Man Show with Adam Carolla. And then he was the host of Win Ben Stein's Money, and I thought he was pretty funny. But now he's got his own show. We're going to talk about it after the break, but Jimmy Kimmel, open mouth, inserted foot, in my opinion. He showed the scumbag that he really is. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but we'll talk about it after the break because it's something that just, when I saw it, I was like, once again, I'm 55, so I'm trying not to be 25. But if he was standing in front of me, I'd punch him right in the face for the sheer enjoyment of seeing him go, ow, my nose is broke. I'll tell you what Jimmy Kimmel said. I mean, it's just, how can you be that just callous to the human race? We'll talk about that next. You're listening to Ocala Talks. Galen Unoff from Life South joins us every day, brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, and Just Ship. We'll be right back after this short time out. The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
A powerful earthquake struck southwestern Mexico very early Wednesday morning near the resort town of Acapulco, Mexico. The 7.1 tremor sent residents running into the streets of Mexico City. Now that's over 230 miles away. About 1.6 million Mexicans lost power and phone service. Scores of aftershocks rattled the country, with the strongest reaching 5.2 in magnitude.